Good day everyone, my name is Alex and welcome to a new review. Today I have a new smartphone called the Umi Max. So I know that Umi makes a lot of smartphones. It seems that every second day we get a new Umi device. Umi Touch, Umi Plus, Umi Metal, everything seems to come like every second day. So a lot of Umi devices. My last Umi device that I used was a Umi Touch, and I have to say that was one of the worst phones that I've had. Now the Umi Max, so it is made out of metal, and I do have to say that it does look rather good. So the back, everything is made out of metal. Onto the back there we have a 13 megapixel camera. Underneath that we have a dual flash and a fingerprint scanner. Since we are talking about the fingerprint scanner works extremely well. So every time you touch the scanner, the phone gets unlocked, and it does work really good. It may not be the absolute fastest fingerprint scanner there, but it does work fairly good. Moving on to the bottom of the device. So this device has a USB-C charger. Now, it is a good and a bad thing because most of us don't have USB-C cables. However, this one comes with a USB-C charger. Aside from that, we do get what looks like dual speakers. However, only one it's a speaker, the other one looks like a speaker. But even though it only has one speaker, if you just cover one or the other, the sound still comes through. Now, since we are talking about the charger that comes with this phone, it's a slow charger, so it's gonna take forever to actually charge the device. But if you do use like a smart charger, like a fast charger, for example, I'm using the charger from my Samsung Galaxy Note 7, the phone will get fully charged within 2 hours, 2 hours and 20 minutes, so much better than the charger that comes with it. Aside from that, I can't say anything bad about the battery and the charger. Now, inside the phone we have a 4000 milliamp battery, and the battery does last a long time. I was able to get about 24 hours and 4 hours and a half of screen on time. So a lot of time onto this battery. Like, it's gonna be impossible for you to actually go through one battery charge in one day. I mean, if you're gonna play some crazy amount of gaming, it may be possible, but other than that, no. Onto the left hand side of the phone, we have the SIM card tray slot. So you can insert a SIM card and a memory card, and because this phone has Android 6, you can also make that internal memory. So you put in a SD card, and all of a sudden you go into the software and you make that SD card internal memory, so you're not gonna be running out of space. Aside from that SIM card tray there, we have a button there. That button can be used as different functions, so you can set that button to like launch the camera or to launch Chrome or whatever. So you can change whatever that button onto the left hand side does. On top of the device, we only find the 3.5mm audio jack, and since we're talking about the 3.5mm audio jack, if you do connect some headphones to the phone, they do sound rather good. So I have no complaints whatsoever about that 3.5mm audio jack. Onto the other side of the phone, so the last side of the phone, we have the power button and the volume keys. They are made out of metal, however, they do kind of move up and down. So if you're like holding the phone in your hand and moving it a bit, the buttons do shake, so they do make this little sound that could become annoying. Other than that, the whole phone does feel very good in hand. So when you're holding the phone, it doesn't feel as big as it actually is. Moving to the front of the device, so although at the top there we have the speaker that does get loud enough for making phone calls, so you're gonna hear everyone pretty good. And next to that we have a 5 megapixel camera. Now the camera, the front facing camera, is not the absolute best. This is a problem with cheap phones from China. So the pictures are gonna come up kind of grainy. If it's not enough light, well, they don't come out good looking at all. So I've attached a couple of sample pictures that I took with the front facing camera, so you can see for yourself that the picture quality from the front facing camera is not the absolute best. Now, we do have a 5.5-inch screen. The screen has a resolution of 1080p. And yes, it does get pretty bright, and the viewing angles are really good. So you can see the screen no matter how you're looking at the phone. If you do go outside, well, even though it gets kind of bright, you're gonna have a couple of issues seeing the screen in direct sunlight. So it's not that bad, and I've seen much worse, but yeah, it is a bit difficult to see the screen in direct sunlight. Now all the way at the bottom of the screen we do have some buttons. So we do have the home button that has like an LED around it. This is like the highlight of the phone because that LED can change colors and it will basically show you notifications, and it can change pretty much in any color that you imagine. You just have to install like an app or something, or change some settings from the settings app of the phone. So yeah, that LED or the home button does look very cool. Moving on to the phone software. So the phone is running Android 6 and it does look very close to stock Android. I mean, you're not gonna find too many apps pre-installed. You will find the Play Store, and the Play Store works very well. But other than that, no garbage apps pre-installed. Moving in between screens, opening the app drawer and stuff like that is done very fast. No lag whatsoever. Switching in between apps, it's also done very fast. So I'm very happy to see that they don't have a lot of garbage pre-installed onto this phone, so it can slow it down. The settings app looks very stock again, not that many options. We do have some smart options related to this particular phone, but overall it's very nice and smooth. Onto the storage part of the settings app, we're gonna see that the phone gets about 11 gigs free of internal storage out of that 16. So pretty good, and keep in mind that you can install an SD card so you can get some extended storage. Other than that, I'm very happy with the phone's UI. So very smooth, no issues whatsoever. On the Antutu benchmark, because that is important to know how the phone's performance will be, we get a score of about 49,000, 48 something. So a rather decent speed for this processor and RAM. So I'm very happy with that particular score, because this is a phone that costs under $160. And since we are talking about software and stuff like that, the phone does come with a lot of sensors. So more sensors that you've seen on most of these cheap devices. And the good thing is that none of the sensors are actually faked. So all the sensors that we see in here actually work, and they work very good. I haven't had any issues with any of them whatsoever. And since we're talking about sensors, the GPS. So the phone does have GPS like most phones out there. Now it does connect fairly quick, so it takes, I don't know, 5-10 seconds depending of where you are. And it does work really good, but if you are like between buildings and stuff like that, so in town basically, it does lose signal every now and then. If you're outside of town, the GPS doesn't actually disconnect at all, and you can just use Google Maps and everything like that without any issues whatsoever. But keep in mind, if you're like in a busy place with a lot of buildings around you, it will lose GPS signal every now and then. The Umi Max is also a 4G device, so you're going to be able to connect to 4G networks depending where you are located in the world. I'm in Canada and I was able to connect to 4G through Rogers. Onto the speed test app, I got some really good speeds on the 4G network and some decent speeds on Wi-Fi. The phone can connect to the 2.4 and the 5 GHz Wi-Fi network. So whatever Wi-Fi network you're gonna find, you can connect to it, and the speeds are rather good onto 4G and Wi-Fi. And the last thing I want to talk about is the rear camera. So onto the back of the phone we have a 13 megapixel sensor, and underneath that we have a dual tone flash. Now the flash does get rather bright, but the camera, well, it's not great. When you hear a 13 megapixel sensor, you're thinking that, well, it's gonna be a rather good camera. Well, no. The camera app, it's the regular MediaTek camera app, doesn't have that many options. You can't really do that much. You can change like the resolution, you can change a couple of modes, but overall you don't have that many options into the camera app. The camera itself takes a while to actually take pictures, so you do have an HDR mode in there, but it takes a long time to actually take a picture in HDR, and you actually have to like hold the phone really steady so you don't move it. If there is a lot of light and you have a lot of time to actually stay there and not shake the phone, the pictures will turn up okay. And you're looking at some pictures that I took with the phone right now. If there isn't enough light, the pictures don't turn out that good. I mean, if you do hold the phone really steady and you take the time for it to focus, which is done very slowly by the way, the pictures will kind of look acceptable in like nighttime, but yeah, don't expect a great camera from this phone. And this is probably the worst thing that I have to say about this phone, the camera sucks. The front and rear cameras are, well, they suck. So garbage cameras. If they would have put some nicer cameras, I would have like paid another 10-15 bucks more for the phone, just so you have like a complete package. So overall, the Umi Max is an okay phone, and I say an okay phone because of that camera. If you would have had a better camera, it would be a really nice phone. It is made out of metal, it does look very good. The battery inside lasts a long time, probably longer than my Note 7 to be really honest. The processor is quite fast, the 3 gigs of RAM are more than enough for a lot of tasks. So you can play games, you can, I don't know, watch YouTube, browse, anything that you can imagine, and the phone doesn't slow down at all. So overall for that, it is a good phone, but the camera kind of ruins everything. The screen, it's a good screen, it's got a nice resolution, good colors, and overall it is a good phone except for that camera. If you guys want to check this phone out, I left some links in the video description. If you did like the video, press that like button, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.